Hey everybody, it's Jimmy and Bill. Bill, what we're talking about today is why so many Canadians want to move to the United States.
Okay.
A lot of Canadians, and I run into...
Surprising me on this one.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people from Canada, I've been running into them. They're from Canada, and they're trying to move here because there's some benefits. Full disclosure, I was born in Canada.
Right.
I was born in Montreal, and I am Canadian. And, well, I'm American now. I moved here when I was 5 years old.
Right.
But I still have a lot of family up in Canada, and some of them watch this channel. So, but here's some reasons why people are moving here. In the meantime, do me a favor. Consider subscribing. We work really hard on these videos, and we are doing something to like a podcast kind of system. And we don't want you guys to miss it, so subscribe so you don't miss it. But I think you're going to be really interested in some of the topics that we're going to be picking. All right, Bill. One of the first things that a lot of people from Canada are going to want to move here is career opportunities. The United States has a lot more opportunities. And stay till the end. I'll tell you why. The number one reason I would move to the United States from Canada. Career opportunities.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The U.S. has a larger job market with diverse industries such as tech, entertainment, finance, and healthcare. Do you notice, I was talking to Ange about the entertainment industry, and a lot of actors and actresses in California, he told me they were from Canada.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so...
Very interesting.
So, yeah, career opportunities is one of the first ones. The second one is higher earning potential. Salaries in many U.S. industries tend to be higher compared to Canadian counterparts.
That I've heard. That I have heard.
So they're into, I have a cousin that works in, the cosmetic industry. And it was a Canadian-based company that she works for in Canada, but she actually she's a United States rep, and she makes more money being a rep here than she would be in Canada.
Interesting. So, do you know why?
I have no idea.
Huh. Okay.
But I guess maybe in Canada this third one I totally agree with because I talked to my cousins about it. Business-friendly environment. The U.S. is known for being business-friendly with fewer regulations, lower corporate taxes in some states. And that's the key word.
Right. Okay. That might be the reason right there.
In some states.
In some states. Okay. That makes sense. Like maybe Florida?
Yeah, Florida. I mean, but yeah, Canada has a lot of regulations.
Right. And is there, if I recall, isn't their healthcare system a little different?
Oh my God! It's like one of my cousins had to do a knee surgery, and they're like, "Yeah, we could take care." They have socialized medicine, and they're like, "Yeah, we could take care of your knee. Just come back in about a year,
Jeez.
And we'll put you in for a surgery."
And here I was upset because it took me 3 weeks to get an MRI.
Yeah, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean,
and I thought that was crazy.
I mean, everybody watching these videos from, watching from Canada, is it still like that? I mean, last time I heard socialized medicine, I'm not knocking it, but, if you have to wait 6 months or 10 months to see a doctor or take care of something.
Yeah, or is that just like water cooler talk? If you've got a cold, for an example, I always laughed. I would call the doctor when I had a cold from time to time, needed medicine, and they're like, all right, well, we can get you in 2 weeks, because I had this small, it was, a little bit smaller office, single doctor kind of thing. Now everything's group medicine for the most part. But, I'm like, I'm either going to be healed or dead. So, I'll be good. Never mind. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they have telehealth there now. I have no idea, but I know some subscriptions there that you get them over the counter. Over here, you need a doctor's notes,
Yeah, there's a lot of that in different places.
There's even Canadian pharmacies here. There's one in Clearwater, Tarpon Springs.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you go in there. It's a Canadian pharmacy, and for some reason, I don't know what the benefit is. I've never been in there before.
Interesting.
But I mean, socialized medicine. I mean, everybody says, "Well, we get free medicine." You really don't get free medicine because you're paying a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
To cover it. Nothing is free, but maybe you get private insurance, but all you Canadians out there, tell us, how's your healthcare system these days? You know? So what about this one? We talked about business friendly.
Yep.
Diverse climate. Okay, so basically, there's only so much south you can go in Canada.
It's just cold and colder.
Right. So that's one of my biggest benefits of living in the United States, because you're like,
You can go as far south for the most part that you want.
yeah, like I lived in Maine, but I could jump on a plane and travel to Florida. And I know you can do that from Canada too. But my point is, in the same country, we go from a really cold climate
To a really warm climate.
to a really warm climate. If
And you don't need a passport.
And you don't need a passport, okay? In Canada, you go from, like you said, a really cold place to a less cold place. But at the end of the day, it's still cold.
It's still cold. Yeah, it's still way colder than anything that I want to deal with.
All right, all you Canadians, talk to me about this one over here. And I could say that because I'm, from Canada too. So, world-class education. Many top-ranked universities such Harvard, MIT, Stanford, and Stratford. Stanford. That was the college.
Stanford.
Right? Stanford. Yeah. Located in the United States. So a lot of Canadians, from what I understand from doing this research, they try to come to school in the United States.
A lot of people try to come to school in the United States.
It's more like the affluent Canadians, I guess.
Yeah, just I think, and people in general, we have a lot of people that come from all over the world to come get an education here in the United States. Because I think we do have a pretty good education system. I mean, I know we can complain about our high schools and middle schools and things like that, but
I think the colleges in the United States have become too political.
Yeah, I mean, my basis is not today, obviously.
Yeah, it's but it's too political, and I think it should be more based on teaching kids on how to do things than political stuff, but
meaning more like life skills and things.
Yeah,
like that.
Life skills. Yeah.
Yeah. So like back in high school, we had like a home economics class, so they would teach you about how to balance your checkbooks and keep your accounts and things like that. Use measuring tapes, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Because now they don't teach that stuff.
No.
That's generally not taught in many schools.
No.
Okay.
All right. What about this one? Culture diversity. The U.S. culture diverse offers wide exposures from lifestyles, traditions, and cuisines. Like you could be New York, have New York pizza, then you go to California. The United States is so big that you go to different areas and experience different environments.
Even within the different state itself, you've got different pockets and stuff of of cultural, like authentic cultural cuisines and things like that.
Yeah. So in Canada, and you guys comment below, do you guys have, I know there's other places in Canada to go. You go from Toronto to Montreal. Like Montreal is very French, and Toronto is less French, and so I mean it's different in a sense, but at the same time it's not. I don't have a variety like you have in the United States.
Right. Okay.
Do you agree with that one?
Yeah, I think that would be I've never been to Canada. But I would agree.
You've never been to Canada?
I've never been to Canada.
We should go to Canada.
I have never been to Canada. I've been to a lot of places. And ironic, that's probably the easiest one for me to get to.
I would think everybody's been to Canada.
Nope, never been.
I actually have to do a survey now and say, hey, how many of you have been to Canada?
Yeah, I have not. That's one place I have not been.
Canada is a beautiful country. Okay, it is. It's a beautiful country. And one of the big things in Canada that I love is the food. I love the bakeries, especially in Montreal and stuff. I love there's a St. Catherine Street in Montreal. You can sit outside, for the few months that it's warm and it's amazing,
And how warm is warm?
Like in the summer, you get pretty hot.
Okay, cool.
But then it's like when Labor Day hits, or our Labor Day, it's like somebody flicks a switch and then you're wearing a winter coat over there.
Gotcha.
Okay. Another reason why a lot of Canadians want to move here is like entertainment hub. We have like Hollywood, Broadway, Miami, all that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of fun places. Disney, Orlando, all that kind of stuff.
You ever when you go to Disney, you see a lot of Canadians.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of everybody's there. A lot of everybody's in Disney. Everybody wants to go to Disney. I totally understand that, though.
There was one point that, and these people from Canada were really, really smart. The American dollar and the Canadian dollar were almost even. It was a few years ago, okay? Mm-hmm. And a lot of Canadians came down here and they bought real estate.
Yeah.
And then they sold it at the peak. And then, the Canadian dollar got a lot weaker. So they had American dollars going into Canadian dollars. They made a fortune, not only on the house appreciation, but just on the exchange of money.
Makes sense. It's smart.
It was really, really
a good move. Good timing.
Yeah. So another reason why I always talk to Canadians and they did business with Canadians, they want to move down here, open up businesses because they have more business, more access to a consumer market here. Don't forget, the population of Canada is not that big.
Right. Compared to what we have here in the United States at, how many million, what are we at now?
I would be guessing, and then people...
I heard a stat.
People will beat me up.
No, I don't want to get beat up on it. I heard this. Yeah, you're right. Because
if you say something wrong...
If I say something wrong,
you're going to have like 100 comments on there.
Yeah, and God, don't have an accent.
Yeah. But at the end of the day... People from Canada I want to move to the United States because I sell this product or this or that, and I have a bigger base.
That makes sense. I do know that from 2008 to today, we've grown in population for the country about 38 to 39 million people collectively. Yeah. That I know. I remember that stat because that came out. That was in an article I was prepping for next week today.
All right, it's true. All right, so another one, innovation and technologies. Some of these companies from Canada want to move to the United States because they have more people to choose from to work on their products. Silicon Valley, a lot of people come here and they're on a work visa or something.
Right.
I didn't realize how many people from Canada are on work visas here, especially in the tech industry.
Yeah, but people... Even here in Florida, people really have, we've talked about this in other videos, that people really don't realize how much tech industry we have here in Florida, and it's growing.
Oh, yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Ridiculously quick.
Yeah. Here's another reason why in New Hampshire, too, because I've ran into a lot of Canadians in New Hampshire, certain states like Delaware, Oregon, New Hampshire have no sales tax. There's a pretty high sales tax in Canada.
Right. Taxes in general are pretty high in Canada because they have socialized medicine.
Yeah, they have socialized, they're especially, I don't know, would you guys call it a socialized government? Or what kind of government do you guys, I don't know. I don't really follow Canadian politics and everything. I don't know. But if you guys are from Canada, tell us, and I'm sure there's a lot of benefits to live in Canada rather than the United States. So if you guys could comment below and give us some of those too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be great. Home ownership opportunities. Housing prices can be more affordable in many parts of the U.S. compared to major Canadian cities like Toronto and Vancouver. Okay, let me talk to you about Toronto and Vancouver. That's like the United States. People speak English and all that stuff, mainly, Those houses, and I watch some TV shows that have to do with housing,
Yeah.
When they fix up a house and they either keep it or they sell it.
Yeah.
And buy another one. I forgot the name of the TV show. But they're in Toronto or Vancouver. I think they're in Vancouver. And they're like, oh, yeah, we want to stay in this neighborhood, but, we have to be on the low end, 1.7 million, 1.8 million,
Right.
It's freaking expensive.
Is that the love it or list it?
Love it or list it. That's it.
Love it or list it.
Yeah, but the whole thing is they're always in coats and they're going through snow, and they're knocking off their boots and,
Right. Yeah. No, I don't know if I could do that. It'd be fun to visit. I'm gonna have to visit.
But at the same time, these houses are 1.5. And then what I'm noticing is, we're going to redo the small bathroom here, but we'll give you a good price. $90,000 to redo the small bathroom here, $80,000. I'm like, where the hell do these people get this money from?
I don't know.
Okay. So here's another reason why a lot of people from Canada would want to move to the United States. We have different landscapes, diverse landscapes, including beaches, mountains, deserts, and national parks. Okay. Now, Canada, I'm sure, has beaches someplace. I know they have lakes.
Right. I was going to say they're probably more predominant lake,
Yeah.
but very small window to use lake without winter clothes.
Yeah, and going swimming in there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like,
Like every year in May, my cousins meet up with me in York, Maine, and it's freezing. I'm wearing a coat, and they're literally in shorts and a t-shirt
right.
and ready to jump in the water.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like freezing.
Well, it's like here. You see the people swimming in winter here, when you're at the beach for us, and we're in coats and stuff. We can still go to the beach, but we're in pants and coat, or at least, like a sweatshirt. But they're swimming in the water, so they're from way up north.
Here's an interesting one, and I got a story about this one. Better sports and entertainment venues. Okay, this is true. If you like a Montreal Canadian game up in Montreal, the tickets are sold out. Okay, they're sold out years in advance. Okay.
Oh wow.
When I go to a Tampa Bay hockey game here for Tampa Lightnings, and they're playing the Montreal Canadiens, there's literally so many Montreal fans. Like the last game I went to, that was Montreal Lightnings. Everybody was like cheering for the Montreal, and I'm looking around. I was like, why is everybody wearing Montreal clothes, jerseys and stuff? So I talked to somebody, a couple of people there, and I'm like, hey, would you guys come down on the bus? He's like, no, it's actually cheaper for us to fly down here from Montreal to go to a game than actually go to a game in Montreal.
That is insane.
Yep.
That's holy smokes. I mean, I guess I'm thinking now outside the box a little bit, and I can see just from some of my own experiences going to another country, and I'm not talking crazy wild here. I'm talking like, my family's from Peru, so they go back home to get certain things done because it's less expensive there. And it's still reputable. It's not like they're in the mountains. They're in a city. It's like going to New York City. They just speak Spanish. But they can get stuff done significantly less there and still paying. They still have to pay cash for it, but because it's not insurance, but it's less than what we would pay as a deductible here for certain things, medical wise. And when I was visiting, I got sick, so I kind of experienced it a little bit, and I kind of started to dig into their healthcare system. So, and it's in my opinion, in a lot of ways, it's better.
Really?
Yeah, it was just the facilities were amazing and super efficient, and you got everything done like that. It was a neat experience.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of equates to the same thing.
A lot of people in Canada want to get out of there just because of the politics and economic stuff going on.
I have heard, watching some news, like I said, we don't follow the politics in Canada very well, but I do see in the news and stuff as it trickles over that there are a lot of economic, not that we don't have our own economic issues here, but that's kind of how it
And we have our own political issues. Yeah, I'm not taking sides, but I guess, some people are getting fed up with the politics up in Canada.
And coming here, the politics are a little maybe less affecting for the things that bother them. I don't know. I'd be curious. Let us know. What do you think?
So a lot of people want to move here, especially younger people, because they have more network and social connections. So basically, even YouTube influencers and stuff in Canada, that some of them talk about, hey, I want to go to the States, and there's more people to interview and places to visit. It's just we have a bigger market, a much bigger market, for everything, from selling cars to everything, because they pay so much up in Canada, they don't have a lot of extra money to buy certain things,
Right.
And some people from Canada want to come here because it's just medical procedures, if they're sickly but they're affluent. Some people say that we have better medical care.
Well, it kind of goes to what I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's a little different. Mm-hmm. So we're a little bit better, or they don't have to wait so long because they have more choice, because they can get their procedure done. Because like what you said earlier, it sometimes takes, and correct us if we're wrong on this, but it takes longer for elective stuff, not necessarily emergent, but elective type surgeries or things that aren't life-threatening. You might wait a while.
Yeah, and I want you guys to comment on this one, okay? I'm just reading it from an article I read. Personal freedom and individual rights. The U.S. values individual freedoms, which many appealing for personal professional growth. Now, up in Canada, it's not like it's communist or anything, but do you feel that you're kind of restricted up in Canada, what you could do and stuff? I know over here, we could carry, guns and buy guns and all that stuff. In Canada, they're like,
That's not happening.
That's not happening. Like, one of my cousins, and when it came down, and they're like, "You own a gun?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Could I see it? I've never even seen a gun,"
Right.
And to me, I found that weird. But that's how they grew up. If you're born with no guns, and you never had the right to own guns.
And there's quite a few countries where civilians,
like Australia too, right? Didn't they take the guns away from people in Australia because there was a massacre or something?
Yeah, that was a big deal.
So there's like nobody could have guns and everything. But in the United States, I don't think you could ever take. There's more guns in the United States than people, and I don't think you.
Oh man, we could go down a rabbit hole with that.
We can go on a rabbit hole,
Yeah,
but yeah, in Canada they're very restrictive on guns.
There's a lot of places, though, to be fair, that are very restrictive. So sometimes, as Americans, maybe we take for granted certain things, because we just grew up with it, or we've become very accustomed to it and used to it. And until you start exploring your horizons a little bit in different places, you don't necessarily know how good you have it until you see maybe the other side sometimes.
Yeah, maybe we should do a survey. It's like, do you think you should have the right to own a gun?
Oh boy.
So many votes we get on that one.
Jimmy found the survey button and he's excited about it.
I did find a survey button.
He's like, I'm doing a survey. He loves his surveys. Hey, but keep filling them out because it does help us.
Yeah, it helps us.
It
gives us ideas and all that stuff.
I got to bust his chops a little bit.
Anyways, that's today's video, why so many people from Canada are moving here. Remember, we do a lot of work to get these videos done. We don't want you to miss some stuff that we're working on. Consider subscribing. Give it a thumbs up. Share this video, and we'll talk to you in the next one.
See you on the next video. Thanks.
Thanks.